Hello everybody, and happy Crafty Hour. It's Kourtney here with Scrapbook-N-Memories in Harrisonville, Missouri, and we're here with Crafty Hour number 77. So we've got a fabulous kind of fun fold for you guys tonight, and we're going to make our sloppy copies, our templates too. So I'll give everybody a moment. Because I'm working on black cardstock, I thought it might be a little difficult for some of you guys to see the cuts and see the score lines. So what we're going to do is I kind of told everybody, this is the card we're going to make. This one goes like that. This card right here is what we're going to make. So we're going to cut that back out. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that sloppy copy, or our template, and then that way you guys can work off of that. So we'll do this kind of together, and then we'll do it again on the good cardstock. But I knew since I was working on black, it might be a little difficult for you guys to see. And then also, sometimes when we're scoring and cutting the centers out of things, it's a little confusing. So I wanted to make sure you guys could kind of see that and do your template, and then we can go back. And something that's cool about this template, this design, is this card here is this card here. So essentially, this is the same exact card, but this one is kind of bumped out in the front. So you can put stuff on here. This one is bumped out in the back, so then you can decorate and put things in here. So two different versions, guys, of the same card, So if you haven't already, grab a piece of scrap paper. I just have a piece of 8.5 by 11 printer paper that I'm going to make that copy with. So just grab that scrap paper, and we're going to make these templates, or make the template kind of together. Hello everybody. Happy chilly Thursday from Missouri. It is, I think today is the coldest we've had so far, guys. It is chilly. And actually, if we want to make both of these templates, you can get both of them out of one sheet of paper. So it kind of gives you some different ideas. So go ahead and grab a piece of printer paper, scrap paper, whatever you have that is 8.5 by 11. You're going to also grab a trimmer with a score. I absolutely love this Spellbinders one. I use it a lot. It cuts, it scores, it slices, it dices. No, it does everything. But it is a great, great trimmer. So that's what I'm going to be working with, guys. And do whatever you want. Yeah, cold. Oh, it's cold in Minnesota too. I think you guys got a lot of snow there, didn't you? We got a little bit, and it's about melted. All right. All right, so what we're going to do, I kind of mark on my templates. We're going to start with a piece of paper that's 8.5 by 5.5. So 5.5 by 8.5 is what we are going to start with. So as you can see, you can get 2 out of here. So we're already at 8.5. It's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So we're going to put it at 5.5 and cut it. Put the other piece to the side because you guys can save that for the next one or make another copy. So what we have to do, we got to put our arm out here. Put your arm out. And we're going to put your piece of paper so it is wider than it is tall in your trimmer. Okay, wider than it is tall. And we have to do 3 scores. So we have 2 1/8, 4 1/4, 6 3/8. And what I'm going to do first, because 6 3/8 is actually very tricky on this trimmer. So there's a couple tricks. You can either use a ruler, which is what I'm going to do. Or what I did is when I scored it, I scored my 2 1/8, then I scored my 4 1/4, and then I flipped it and scored 2 1/8, and that will give you your 6 3/8. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a ruler and a mark and a pen, And we're just going to mark these measurements. That way it's a little bit easier. You can even see on my template that I marked it wrong because apparently sometimes I can't read my trimmer. So we're just going to mark it first. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm just going to put a little tick mark. And remember, this is our sloppy copy, so it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to put a mark at 2 1/8. Okay, and I'm using my Crafter's Essential ruler that has all those measurements on there for you. We're going to go at 4 1/4, and then again at 6 3/8. 6 3/8. Okay, so there's our measurements. We got 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 6 3/8. So each gap, if you measure across, is going to be 2, just double checking my work, 2 1/8. Okay, all the way across, 2 1/8, all the way across. Okay, we all got that? I hope you guys are making a template with me because I think this will make it so much easier to kind of understand. So I'm just going to put on here, this is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 is our piece of paper. Okay, and then our marks is 2 1/8, 4 1/4, 6 3/8. So now we're just going to go and score. We're going to score on all of those marks. And I am going to use my pieces over here just to make sure it's perfect. So 2 1/8, okay, 4 1/4, and then 6 3/8, which that's where I'm going to rely off of my little mark that I made because 6 3/8 is tricky on here. It's right in that void. So you should have 4 equal panels, 4 equally scored panels. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take a highlighter. Let me find a highlighter. And I'm going to highlight those. That way you guys can see it. Okay? So that is 2 1/8. And they're straightened, my highlighting. 4 1/4 and 6 3/8. So there is your score lines. Those are scored. Then we're going to flip it. So it is taller than it is wide. Taller it is wide. And we're going to go to 1. And what we're doing is this right here. We're going to go to 1 1/2. 1 1/2. And what we're going to do now is from this purple line to this purple line, we are going to score it. And that's where the measurements on the side of your trimmer come in very handy if you want to go by that. But we're going to go in 1 1/2 inches. Okay, 1 1/2. We are going to drop our cutter right on that purple line, which is also actually 2 1/8. And we're going to score it all the way down until we get to 6 3/8, which is the other purple line. So I scored from here to here. Does that make sense? Here to here, we're scoring. So we have a cut right here. Okay, I don't see any questions. We're going to flip it and do the same exact thing on the other side. So we're going to go to 1 1/2 inches. We're going to drop the blade at 2 1/8, and we're going to cut it to 6 3/8, which is purple line to purple line. So now we have something that looks like this. Okay, that's our template. And for my notes, always kind of what I do too, I just kind of put that this went down 1 1/2 and this went up 1 1/2. And that's how we have that. So then when we fold it, these are a mountain, this is a valley. So it's going to alternate. So this one goes in, this one goes up. So we have up, down, up. Okay. Sometimes it's easier to do the outer ones first and then flip it. Okay, so we have that. And then we're going to pull this guy out and fold him over. So it's easier sometimes to do that and then just flip it. So then you're going to end up with this. So we have a mountain. I guess that one's more straight. Straight. You're going to make a square. Okay, so mountain, valley, and straight. So we're not bending here. These stay straight, but you're bending here. Does that make sense? Has everybody got that? So when we fold it down, you're going to have an A2 card. So this will fit in a standard size envelope. Okay, standard size envelope. So that is version 1. I see some thumbs up, so I think we're good. That's version 1, where it bumps up. You can do the same exact measurements, the same exact thing that we just did, but instead of bumping this piece out, you bump that piece behind. And you can do it left, you can do it right. It's whatever side. I like to have my straight on this side, but then you have kind of more of an inverted one. This is very similar to that. I have a big template. Evelyn posted in the Scoop group, and she really inspired me to try to attempt one of those cards. And I saw you guys kind of attempting some. It was a 5x7 card. So it was a big card with a back panel on it. So this is kind of the same idea. I kind of took that template and did it into a flat style A2 card. So that's kind of where that inspiration came. I took the measurements, kind of reworked them into an A2 card. So if anybody wants those measurements, there's kind of that version. Doing it as a 5x7 card, and then on this one, it has a back panel. Okay? So that card closes down, and it has a back panel. These just close down to an A2 card. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. I don't see any questions, so there's no questions. We will start with our good piece of paper. We'll start with our good piece of paper. Is everybody good? And I'd love to see you guys do this other version too. And there is plenty. This kit was packed, guys, and amazing. So there is plenty of paper and plenty of stuff in that kit to make lots of different versions. So I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. So, okay, so we are going with our black piece of paper. Oh, awesome. Evelyn said there is a PDF for the larger size in Crafty Art. I didn't even see that. Thank you for posting that. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so we're going to make an A2 version. And our A2 version, we are going to pop it out. So the main piece is popping out. You can do the same thing and kind of pop it in. So that's why I love Crafty Hour. I find that we inspire each other, we get ideas, we run with them, we make our own, and it's just so much fun, guys. So there is the card we're going to do. We're going to do this, okay? So we're going to start with our black piece of paper, and we're going to do the same thing we just did with this, guys. So we're going to cut it to 5, and that was your homework, 5.5 by 8.5. So we're going to cut that piece of black. We already have it cut. I'm going to do my marks on here again, just so I kind of have a guidance of where that tricky 6 3/8 is. So I'm going to do 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and then 6 3/8. And we're going to cover most of this with paper, so I'm not even worrying about that little pen mark it's there. We're going to cover a lot with paper. So 6 3/8. So there's my 3 markings. And we're going to put our paper in our trimmer so it is wider than it is tall, and we're gonna score it. And this time I gotta push a little bit harder because we're going with a heavier cardstock. So 2 1/4 and score. We're gonna move her over and do 4 1/4 and score. We're gonna move her over, do 6 3/8 and score. Okay, so you should have your 4 sections on here. You're gonna have your 4 sections. Okay, we're gonna flip it sideways. And again, we're gonna go down 1 1/2 inches, or I guess you could say over 1 1/2 inches. We are going to cut from the top line all the way down to the bottom line. Okay, top line to the bottom line. So we're gonna drop it at 2 1/8, and we're gonna slide to 6 3/8. Okay, so we have our first slit. Then we're gonna rotate our piece of paper and repeat the same thing on the other side. Whoops, make sure your paper's in there straight. It does make a world of difference. Okay, and then we're gonna slice it down. And there's that. Oops. Okay, so we're gonna bring this guy out. And fold them down. So you should have a mountain, valley, and then flat. Mountain, valley, flat. This is flat. This is a mountain. This is a valley. So it alternates. Okay, so there is kind of our, let me find a bone folder. I don't know where my good ones are right now. Evidently walked off with them. Evidently my measurements were off a hair, because we shouldn't have that poking out the back side. Let me see if I can just alternate it and fix it. Ha! I'm gonna alternate it and fix it. Evidently my 6 3/8 was off by a hair, but we're gonna go with it. Okay, so that is our card base, guys, our card base. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add all of our pattern papers and decorate. So we're gonna grab from your kit, let me dump all my ephemera pieces off. You're gonna grab, and this was in your homework picture, this piece of paper that's green. So it has butterflies on one side, and that is gonna be what we're using pretty much for our backers. Okay, so we're gonna grab this green piece of paper. It is 6 by 8. So we're gonna do 2-inch strips with it. So that's what we're on right now. We're doing our 2-inch strips. Oh, great. Teresa, you will understand your notes. I know you will. So we're gonna cut it at 2 inches. So your piece of paper is taller than it is wide. And then we're gonna cut it again at 2 inches. So you're gonna end up with 3 strips. 3 strips that are 2 inches. This paper just worked out perfect for it because I literally had no scraps. So we're gonna go in here and we're gonna do these right here, these long panels, and those are going to be, squish my card down, those are gonna be green, 5 3/8. 5 3/8. So we've got 5, 1, 2, 3, and then save your scraps because we're gonna come back to those. And we're gonna do another one that is 5 3/8. So we're gonna end up with 2 of those. 1, 2, 3. Hi, Jennifer. I'm so sorry I missed your crafty hour today. The store was crazy. And about 1:30, Ken goes, "Did you tune in and watch Crafty Hour?" And I was like, "No, I missed it." So I will go back and get you on replay. Okay, so your green should fit on there perfect like that, with a little bit of black all the way around the outside edge. This one I'm gonna have to trim down just a hair, because apparently my piece of paper, actually, I think it looks fine. My piece of paper might have been a little bit smaller than 8.5. Oh, we're looking good. We're going with that. I'm going to trim mine just a smidge. Just a smidge. Okay, so that's those panels. Then, so we have the 2 panels there. Now we need to do these guys in here. So we have 4 of those. And you know what? We have a scrap piece of paper that's already 2 inches, and that can go right in here. So we're going to flip it so it is wider than it is tall, and we're going to cut it at 1 3/8. 1 3/8. So 1, 2, 3. And then our scrap piece of paper is too short. So that one's too short. Throw it to the side for later. You're going to grab your other scrap that we had and cut it at 1 3/8. And then this scrap, throw to the side, because I think I did use it later. Okay, so both of these should fit perfect right there at the top. And then we'll do it again right at the bottom. So we're just covering everything in green, guys. Everything in green. So we need to cut 2 more that are, it's already 2 inches. We're going to flip it and do 1 3/8. Okay, 1 3/8. And then 1 3/8. Okay, so those will now fit. So we have everything colored in green except for, which I didn't do the measurements on that one. It'll be 2 by, because everything's 2 inches. I love the math on this for doing the pieces, because everything's 2 inches. This one's gonna be, let me dump those pieces off so I can measure it. Already 2 inches. Why did I measure that way? 2 by 2 3/8. Okay. So it's 2 inches already, and then we're going to cut it. Ooh, make sure I'm not cutting my panel. That's my panel one. This is my scrap, right? Yeah, that's my scrap. 2 by 2 3/8. So that will cover that piece. And then we have 1 more for the other side. So 2 3/8. Okay, now we're going to glue those green pieces down so we don't lose them or forget which one goes where. Because I was working on this black, I felt like the white edges looked a little too clean. It didn't blend well. So I'm just going to take a black distress ink, and I am going to ink all of my edges just to kind of give it more of that faded, and then glue them down. When you glue them down, you're going to have a little bit of black showing all the way around your pieces. Okay, so we're going to do that to everything that's green. So everything that's green is going to get inked with black, and then we are just going to glue it down flat. And the inking is totally optional. Maybe you don't want to ink yours, so you don't have to. I had originally did mine and I was staring at it and I'm like, something looks wrong, like it needed something. And I'm like, it needs inked. Kathy, I have no idea if this fold has a name. I'm sure somebody's named it. I kind of dissected what Evelyn had done, so, and turned it into A2. So you might see if Evelyn had a name for it. So we're just inking all of our pieces and matching them on. I would do the same thing if I was doing the reverse of this where it's popped in. I would cover all the little panels too. And since this piece here is a straight piece, you could totally do a U shape here instead of doing the squares. But I found that was going to be a little bit harder to teach you guys how to cut that and to do the math on it. So this was just easier to make the little rectangles and tiles. But you could totally U-shape this since technically that is not a fold there. I hope you guys like this kit. I love 49 and Market. There is just so much you guys can design with these. I love all the rub-ons and the ephemeras and the doodads. And these kits are just so much fun. So I hope you guys are loving this. This one was another one that is packed. Another packed kit. Oh, Evelyn says... I never gave the large size a name because there's no tutorial and everyone wants a video, so they do a search and can't find one. I just did a PDF. Could cut out their own decorations. Yep, absolutely. Okay, so there's what we have in green so far. So we've got everything kind of covered. It's kind of mosaicked, really nice. So the next piece of paper you're going to grab is this pattern one. It has kind of like some butterflies and things on one side, and then on the back side it's more white, kind of more tone on tone kind of white. So we are going to cut this kind of like we did the other one. So we are going to do it so it is taller than it is wide, and this time we are doing 1 7/8. 1 7/8. Okay, so we're going to do 1 7/8. And we're going to do 3 strips again because we're just going to use all those and mat right inside of that green that we've already done. And this little sliver, we're not going to use that. No sliver. Okay, so the first one we need to do is our largest one. I always start with the largest ones first, and then that way you can do scraps for the other. It is going to be 5 1/4. So 5 1/4 is our first cut. And that is going to go right there on top of your green. So you have a little bit. And you know what? I'm going to ink and glue as I go, so I don't put something in the wrong spot. Okay, so that is 5 1/4. That is our largest piece. And we're just matting them inside of all these green pieces that we did. All the green is just going to get a happy little mat. So we did that one, and then we're going to jump to the back one because that's our next largest one. And it is also going to be 5 1/4, which I might have to shave just a hair off mine because I had to shave a hair off of the other one. Yeah, I'm going to shave just an itty bitty little hair, and that's what I love my Tim Holtz trimmer for, is shaving a hair. And that's going to go on that back panel. Then we've got some scraps here, and look, that scrap is going to fit nicely right there. So that one is going to be, let me just double check it, 2 1/4. So 2 1/4, and we're going to cut 2 of those. 2 1/4 and 2 1/4. So those are going to go on, actually that larger piece right there. I actually did something else different on the other one. I forgot. I left the other one blank. But you can put that there if you want. And then these guys are going to be 1 1/4. So we got to cut 4 of them that are 1 1/4. Two, 3, 4. 1 1/4. So you should have 4 of those. Okay, and then we're just going to ink those and glue those down. I hope you guys are enjoying the crafty hours. I hope you're learning some new tips, tricks, techniques. Make sure that you are in our private Facebook group that is called Crafty Hour Creations. That is where you guys can post your creations, your versions that you're doing, and then you can also find all of the homework for upcoming crafty hours in that section too. You can just type in the search engine, type in crafty hour homework, and then that way it'll be easier for you guys to find. If you're trying to catch our replays, both of us have a YouTube channel. So you can go over to our YouTube channel and find all 76 of the last crafty hours over on our YouTube, because you know Facebook does delete them after, is it 30 days, I think it is. So you can go over there and find them there also. Tomorrow will be the announcement of the next crafty hour, and if you love this crafty hour kit, you're absolutely going to love tomorrow's crafty hour kit. I think it is one of my favorite releases, and I'm going to say right now, nope, Deanna did not have to print it in color. Did not have to print it in color. It's going to be black and white. It's gorgeous. Oh, thank you, Sheila. She says she loves all the crafty hours. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for participating and doing them with us. Okay, so there's our card base, guys. That's kind of our card base. Mine's doing a little weird because I folded when I shouldn't have folded. But there's our card base. Now, on my original, what I did is I did a little white square. And let me see, I probably have, yep, I have some scrap white paper. You can cut a little square that is 1 7/8 by 2 1/4 and have that for your little piece in there. I know, right? Hint, hint. That was your hint, hint, guys. You're gonna love it. Okay, so we're doing 2 1/4. by 1 7/8. And we're just doing a little white square. That way you guys, about time to get a new trimmer blade, starting to get fuzzy, have a place to put a little sentiment. This is probably also, since it is just scrap paper laying on my table, it's probably not the best quality, which is also sometimes why the paper frays out, because it's not great quality. Okay, then we're just going to put that little guy on. So if you want to put a decorative paper on there that we cut, go for it. If you want to put your solid paper, do that too, because this is where you can put your thank you, your salutations, sign your name, put that right there on there. Okay, so there is what we got. Okay, so the other half, because I had you cut your paper, let me set my card, it's not staying closed. I had you, for the other half of your black piece of paper, you're going to need a black piece of paper. So what we're going to do, and you do not have to have this die, guys. If you do not have this die, that is okay. Use whatever nesting die you have. But I like to go back and use stuff from previous crafty hours also. So somebody posted which one this was from, and I can't remember, but thank you to whoever did that. This is from a previous crafty hour. This was the deckled stitched die that we had designed for crafty hour that we're using. So I used the two, so if you count outside in, I used number 3 and 4. Number 3 and 4. If you don't have this die set, then use whatever nesting dies you have that are rectangle. It could be a straight edge, it could be a scallop edge, it could be whatever you want. But grab whatever you have, guys. It does not have to be this set. But as you guys have been following along with all of our crafty hours, you probably have this set. So we're going to pull it back out and use it again. So then we are going to die cut this out of black cardstock. Okay? 64. Thank you, Evelyn. I remember it was something 4. I felt like it was like ages ago. 64 doesn't sound that too long ago, right? I know Deanna and I like to use that baby stitched scallop that she designed a lot also. We do have another shipment of those coming. We had enough requests that we're doing another production of them, and we are taking pre-orders for them now at both stores. So if you didn't grab those yet, make sure to get in on that one because we have used those in the crafty hours quite a bit already. It's the baby scallops, and that has stitches. And somebody called the store today and asked, what is a baby scallop? And it is the size of the scallop. The scallop is itty bitty, whereas some of the other scallops out there on the market are big ones. They're big. There's less scallops. They're bigger scallops, if that makes sense. Okay, so there's that. Then also for your homework, I had you grab this piece of paper. You probably have a full size. I just have a sliver because that's what I'm using. It has green butterflies. Oh my gosh, 30 weeks ago. That does sound a long time ago. 64 sounds like it's so close, but then 30 weeks ago sounds so far away. My goodness. Okay, so this piece of paper, the next scallop size, that next baby scallop, I'm just going to die cut, and actually I'm going to die cut on, ooh, I like the flower up here. I'm going to die cut on, actually it doesn't matter, but we are going to use the other piece of that, so don't die cut it right in the center. Don't die cut it in the center. I'll show you the method to my madness. There is a method here. Sometimes I do something and I have like this great idea and I'm like, ooh, this is going to be fabulous. I'm going to do this. And it doesn't always turn out fabulous like I thought it was going to do. So this is what I originally did. I cut out this and I thought, oh, I'm going to nest that on there. And then I put it on my card, and I'm just going to kind of tell you guys how my brain works. But I put it on my card, and I was like, that doesn't look right, guys. This is an itty-bitty little black edge, and this is huge. It just did not look right. And I'm like, how can I fix this to look better? What I did is like, ooh, I got dark green here. So we're going to flip this over, and we're going to use this green. And what I did is I cut a straight rectangle, and I mounted them on top of each other. And guys, it worked. It looked fabulous. So this rectangle that we're going to cut is going to be 2 3/4 by 4. Okay, let me flip. Let me find another piece of paper. 2 3/4 by 4 is what we're going to cut this scrap to. And it works because it coordinates and matches perfectly. So I'm going to cut my 4 first. Woo, I was right at the edge of that. If you guys are right at the edge of that or not, you can use your other piece. I already used my other half on the other thing, so you guys have a larger piece to work with than I do. Okay, so 2 3/4 by 4. And look at how happy this makes it. It just looks good. So I originally put that on there, and I thought, ooh, I like that just the way it is because it kind of frames it. And then I was like, ooh, but what if I do a tone on top? And that looks even cooler. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So we're doing kind of an in-between. Oh, where's my sander? We're going to do an in-between that is straight. And then it really bumps out the other deckled. Bumps out that deckled with it. Okay. And I'm just going to ink those two. We're going to give them a little bit of black. That way that deckled edge and that straight edge kind of stand out a little bit more on the edge of those, okay? So we're going to do that. I'm going to glue this one down flat onto the black, okay? That one's just going directly onto the black. We're going to do it flat. I know, sometimes I just stare at something, and I'm not gonna lie, I stared at this for 3 days saying, I wanna like it, but I don't like it. So how do I fall in love with it? And this is what I came up with. Okay, so there's that, and then this piece is gonna go on top. So we got our 2 different shades of green, and look at how it just makes that other piece just pop out, gives us that little bit of black that we need without that big edging in it. And we're gonna pop this layer. So I'm using the 54 roll, which is what I call the regular size height. You can use the 108 if you don't want yours as tall. That's great also. But I'm going to use the 54, and I'm just going to put foam tape right on the top of it. And then that way it kind of lifts it a little bit and separates also. And see how nice that turns out? Then this whole piece is going to go on top of our card, and I'm going to pop that too. So when we put our foam tape on, we can put, I'm going to put it like this, and I'm going to flip it down. So we can put foam tape all the way along this side because it'll be on the straight edge. But the other edge, the foam tape, can only be right here. Otherwise, your card will get glued shut. Does that make sense? So about halfway over, and you're just going to put it right there, just like that. Okay? So we'll put foam tape there, and then we have foam tape on the back. And we're just going to drop it, and it's going to go right in the center, guys. Right in the center. And look at how fabulous that is. Is that not fun? Is that not like fun? Okay, I'm going to hold my card down while we're working. Hold it down. Okay, so now we're going to pull in all those ephemera pieces that I had you guys grab for homework. So I love ticket stubs. So there was lots of ticket stubs in there. These were from the big ephemera pack. This was from the big ephemera pack. This was from your laser cuts, the large laser cuts. These were from the large laser cuts, and then I think these were from the mini laser cuts. So we're just going to kind of go in and we're just going to layer those pieces in. And I started with, and I inked all of my big like ticket stubs and my, those pieces. We're going to ink the edges of all those. But as far as the little laser cuts, I don't bother. They're so small. It's kind of tricky, but I feel like these bigger pieces do need inked up. And it's absolutely a preference of whatever you guys want to do. It's your card. I'm going to glue all these guys flat. I'm going to start with the largest and work my way down to the smallest. All of these are going to be flat. If you want to pop any of these layers, by all means, pop the layers. So I'm going to do kind of closer to the side, equal at the top, equal at the bottom. Then we're going to grab the one with the R on it, the pirate, R. And we're going to come down and cover up, we're going to say the edge of the F. Okay, the edge of the F, that's right there. Okay, just the edge of the F. Then we're going to go in with our green piece, and all we're doing, guys, is just layering. We're just layering them on top of each other. I'm gluing them all flat. If you want to pop them, feel free to pop them. But we will pop the greenery. It's going to go on top here in a second. Okay, so there's that. And then we have our last ticket stub. That's also going to go flat. And we're just going to kind of pokey it there. Okay, so no right or wrong. We are just layering those ticket stubs. We're just kind of creating some layers. Creating some layers. Okay, then for our greenery pieces, we're just going to kind of, I'll show you what I did. I kind of had a method to my madness to try to get all these things to stick together. I know Jennifer had you guys use your tiny attacher, so you should have that kind of readily available. Actually, let's put the greenery pieces on first because I did sneak. Actually, let's do it the same way I did it originally, Kourtney. So I put my greenery on, and these pieces might be going a different direction than the other ones because there's a left version and a right version. So this one has like the left version, this one has the right version. So I'm just going to layer these on top and kind of sprig them out the way I want them. Just to kind of fill that space. And then when I got them the way I wanted them, what I did is I just kind of held them. Held them up. And you know what? I feel like that piece needs to be kind of more like that. Get your greenery clustered however you want. And what I did is I took a staple and I stapled them all together. I found it was just so much easier to do that. Just staple it all together. Okay, and then what I did is I kind of took a little glue and then I just kind of spot checked the leaves in a couple spots and I just kind of glued them together. Just in a couple spots. Just kind of spot check them. And then we're going to flip it, and I put the itty bitty little pops. Uh-oh, says it's frozen. Is it frozen for anybody else? Mine's still going. Okay, so then I'm just going to peel off. I'm using the itty bitty little pop dots, and I'm just going to randomly place them on the back. And then what I always like to do is flip it and do kind of a squish test. Oop, it gets squishes right there. So I don't know how we're going to put a pop dot there. Oh, looks like we're okay. Okay. Okay, so we're putting pop dots on there. Then we're going to peel those off, and we're going to pop dot that whole thing. All the little cluster of leaves and branches on top of there. I started playing with this, and originally I had the little greenery on here. Well, I still have the greenery with the little berries on there, and I had some other stuff. And I was like, it's starting to look like a Christmas card. I swore I was done with Christmas cards. Yes, right, Rayanne? I love those little micro dots. They are lifesavers. Okay, so then we're going to pop that on. So then what I did is I just took my green and I just kind of snuck it up behind here. So it is going from point to point. So I put a little bit of liquid on that. Okay, a little bit of liquid. We're just going to kind of run it up under there wherever you would like to go, as far up or down. And then I just took my scissors and snipped it right there. No measurements. Just kind of eyeballed and snipped. Okay. There you go. And that one's a little crooked, so you know what? I'll try again. There we go. We got a little bit of green. That one's not quite glued. Let me add a little bit more glue to that. And then I absolutely loved how pretty, look at that is, guys. This little rickrack, is that not gorgeous? So I was like, I have to add that. So same thing, I just took my liquid glue. I love my glue press because it has that needle on here. I can just kind of go down it. And we are just going to sneak that under there too, and then just kind of lay that right on top. And look how that, just that little bit of that pink terracotta color just makes that pop. Is that not gorgeous? Okay, and then in the kit, oh, and then I got a little postage stamp. I added a little postage stamp down here, again, just with liquid, because I felt like it needed just a little bit more red, a little bit more color in there to kind of bring out the berries. And I just kind of put that right there. I'm going to scoot it over a little bit so it overlaps. So I just added a little bit of red, just kind of bring the color of the berries and the others in. And then the last thing is these acetate. Oh my Lanta, is that acetate not the most beautiful thing ever? So there is the acetate butterflies. The one that has white on it, I'm going to put on the inside of the cards. And I found if you do the micros and you just put it one right in the center of his body, and if you use the white, it pretty much disappears and you don't see it, guys. So I'm going to put one right there. Make sure I have the right size. The right side is the slick side, so you want the slick side up. The one side that has a little bit of roughage to it, that's the back side. Okay, so then we'll put another butterfly right there. Okay, so there is our butterflies. Then the last thing you're going to do is grab some rub-ons, guys. So what I did on the inside is I did thanks. That is from the rub-ons, and there was only one rub-on in here that said thanks, and it was right here. So if you want to use that one, thanks was right here. And then what I did too is I put the butterfly in, and I just glued him flat. And you know what? This here says give thanks. So I'm just going to go in here and chop that up. Oh, I love it. Ray says the spinners, those little nano spinners that we got from Dress My Craft would be awesome on those little butterflies. It absolutely would. Okay, so with my rub-ons, what I always do is I cut them out. Oh, is that going to be too big? I always cut out what you want because it never fails. It's going to stick where you don't want it to stick. So we're going to put the thanks right there. And I would say put it straighter than I did mine, but mine's already stuck, so I can't move it. And if you find you miss a spot, just lay it down and re-rub it. Perfect. And then the acetate, I found, just put a little bit of liquid glue on there. And when it dries clear, you don't really see it. Now, what I wanted to do is when my card was closed, I wanted the butterfly hidden. I didn't want to see the butterfly from the front. I wanted it to be a surprise. So I do kind of go in and just wiggle it around. There you go. Until it is hidden when you close the card. Okay, and then the last thing I did is I love random scripts. I love random words. And this rub-on here in the corner had some fabulous randomness that I decided to use and just cut that out. And I kind of worked it. I put a little bit at the top. I put a little bit at the bottom. So I just kind of cut it out. And because I only have adhesive on the belly of my butterfly, I can lift up that wing a little bit. And I can kind of work it around it, work it above it. And add that random script. And then I really didn't rub what was behind the butterfly because you don't see it anyways. So then you can just bring it in and add it below. Just like that. And isn't it fun just to put some random script in behind? And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Lift that butterfly wing. And you know what? Let me cut the rub on. Let me cut that excess there so we're not struggling with that. And then nothing on the paper goes to waste. I just kind of move it and keep layering it until all that random delicious rub-on is used up. Sorry, I probably shouldn't have used this. This is an old Ideology Tim Holtz rub-on tool. I wish they'd come out with another one. Okay, so that is, look at that, guys. 2 minutes to spare. I was nervous we wouldn't make it through this. There you go. So that is my card for Crafty Hour number 77, guys. So I hope you learned some new things. I hope you made your sloppy copies. So here's the version that we did there, if you want to screenshot it and make yours. And then here is the other version, where it bumps in instead of bumping out. Same exact measurements. I just folded it different. So I'd love to see your guys' interpretations and see what cards you guys have created. Make sure to join that public Crafty Hour Creations Facebook page so you guys can share and inspire each other. And also tomorrow we will announce and reveal the next Crafty Hour. So it will be Crafty Hour number 79. If you love this kit here, and you maybe, some of you grab more than one because you loved them so much and there's so much product in here, you are definitely going to want to tune in tomorrow at 11 o'clock for our next Crafty Hour 79 reveal. Kits will go on our websites and be on sale at that time. So it is 11 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Pacific. And there are 3 different add-ons that'll kind of match and coordinate with this Crafty Hour also. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you had a fabulous time. Cannot wait to see your creations. And we will see you all tomorrow for the next reveal. Bye-bye.